leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Talk.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Welcome to DarkDox Digest. Today is March 10th, 2025, and rest in power, Jamie White. I'm Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Oh, what a day. What a Monday. I hope your Monday is doing better or as good as mine, but better than Jamie White was killed in Austin, Texas. He is a writer for Infowars.GOV, and I mean, we've been sharing his work for years, so I just wanted to take a moment and this is a developing story. They just broke this a couple hours ago. Data Battle Z has actually knows him. Give it up for Data Battle Z. With the shuffle of everything, he made an intro this this morning, and I haven't even put it in there. Yeah, what a crazy day. I mean, we had X go down for like 8 hours. Rumble was down, and then through all of it, now Jamie was murdered. So rest in peace. This is an ongoing story. We'll be covering it and seeing what's going on. On X, White is the Fury was his handle. I imagine there's quite a few Jamie Whites. And here's the news report.
I'm Sally Hernandez. Police on the scene in East Austin at Douglas Street and Old Torf Street. A 911 call came in just before midnight last night. Bear Tryon has been there for us within the last few hours to figure out exactly what police are saying from that investigation. Good morning.
Police really releasing few details about what happened overnight, but this is what we do know right now. Police say they actually found the victim here in the parking lot of this apartment complex. EMS ended up taking that man to the hospital where he later died. Right now, police will not say exactly if he was shot or stabbed, only saying that he had obvious trauma. Homicide detectives still on scene, as I mentioned this morning, collecting evidence. We've seen also a lot of activity in a second floor apartment where they've been taking evidence bags out. Right now, police say they do not have any information about a suspect, and they're asking if you know something about that to contact them. You can also remain anonymous using Crime Stoppers.
The afternoon of Monday, March 10th, 2025, and I come to the Infowars family of viewers and listeners into the world with some really horrible news. There are a lot of really cool people that have worked at Infowars over the years, and one of the most amazing people was Jamie White. You know him as a great reporter and researcher. He was up here last night working late during the Sunday show and after it. And we even have his last post on X where he responded to Elon Musk. Jamie was murdered last night outside of his home, just a few miles away from our studios. And we are the folks here breaking that news first because his family has been notified, and his good personal friends here that were very close to Jamie have talked to his folks and family. We sent some people over this morning when he didn't answer the phone, because he's always here early, loves to work, loves to fight tyranny, loves to promote freedom. And when they got to the apartment complex, there was yellow tape everywhere and blood all over the parking lot. And we went and talked to the manager. They didn't know anything. Just like everybody else we see in the left, they just very laissez-faire. But our crew member saw a police officer and went and talked to them, and they made a phone call, and she had the details when she talked to him and knew Jamie. The police officer said yes, he died at the hospital very soon after they got him there. The police responded within 2 minutes, and they had him at the hospital where he was pronounced dead within 18 minutes. Just want to say the police did a great job in the response time, despite, I'm going to talk about in a moment who I hold responsible for this, and who is responsible for this, and who are accomplices to Jamie and so many others' murder, and so many others that have been raped and mugged. Heard me on air talk about how the crime is very, very bad here in Austin. Any leftist city is, and just exploded the last 4 years. But let me just tell you what happened to Jamie. What we know so far, his last post on X was 16 hours ago. Elon Musk was talking about leftists saying that if they see Cybertrucks, they're going to attack them and physically attack them and put a rock through their windshield. That's now actually happening, and they're burning down the Tesla dealerships and shooting them up, and they're celebrating on corporate news. Elon responded and said, yeah, why are liberals so violent? Legacy media propaganda is a major part of the problem. I'm not saying a leftist killed Jamie, but the point is there's a lot of push for violence. Jamie White reposted Elon Musk's comment in the story, and that's the last thing we know that he ever probably did in his journalistic career. There's Jamie's X account. I've sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the mind of man. Original gangster Thomas Jefferson. And I mean, I'll just say it. Jamie was our best writer and reporter. They're all great, but they all said he was the best. I mean, there's others that are almost as good, but not as good as Jamie. And he wrote 6-7 articles yesterday, posted all this news, did all this great research, gave us information for the show, assisted us in what we were doing. And I came in this morning, the crew looked really upset, and they said Jamie didn't come in. And so we sent one of the crew down there, and didn't look good. And then they didn't even want to tell me yet that the cops had said, no, it was Jamie White. We were the first to learn. We waited until the afternoon until the family's been told. You saw a little clip from the newscast about this in the early morning hours, and it's just become so routine. And then when somebody like Daniel Penny defends a group of people on a train, these leftist DAs throw them in prison. We'll get to that in a moment. We have one even worse than Alvin Bragg here in Austin, if you can believe that. Recognized as probably the worst in the country, an actual communist. They love the chaos. It's their Cloward and Piven. We'll get to that in a moment. Because Jamie would want us to talk about this. And I'm going to talk to the family again a little bit later and see if we can help out, hopefully, with any of the expenses and maybe do a give, send, go or something. Austin Police Department officers responded to a high-priority emergency call at approximately 11:57 p.m. Sunday night. The call was shoot, stab, hot shot, which refers to a high-priority potential life-threatening call involving possibility of an active shooter or stabbings. Officers arrived about 2 minutes later and found a male victim, obvious signs of trauma, according to APD Public Information Officer Leah Ratliff. Officers attempted life-saving measures before the victim was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead at approximately 12:19 a.m. Monday morning. Homicide detectives are actively investigating the incident, which marks Austin's 8th homicide of the year. Authorities have not released information about potential suspects or specific nature of the victim's injuries. This is pretty early on in the investigation, and the homicide unit will be releasing more information as they're able, Ratliff said during a media briefing. Well, we've talked to the police off record. We know more. I'm going to reveal that right now. Multiple police officers we've talked to, detectives, said off record that we said we're really sick of this, we're tired of this, and they said we are too. We have had in the last few years our funding for crime scene people and responders cut back massively. They made the biggest cuts in areas that deal with violent crime, as we know from the news, but this was them telling us. and that they will bust really hardened people with huge rap sheets committing serious crimes, robberies, armed robberies, and that the Austin DA, who, despite all the pressure and everything, is very proud of himself. Soros put him in on record, financed his run, does nothing. In fact, they just intensify it to the point the governors had to put the state police in to Austin just to try to deal with it. And then the state police really don't know anything but writing tickets, so they just write tickets. And I've been really talking about that being a very, very sad thing. But everybody's homes and cars are being broken into. I was talking to Rob Dew, who got home Saturday night at about 11:30. I said, you're lucky you live out in the country in a nice area. He said, actually, we pulled up. There was a truck parked at the end of the street with its lights on. He said to his wife, Trish, they're probably going to break into cars. And they did break into cars that night. They learned from the neighbors. They parked their car in the garage. So this is what's going on in this country. And almost everyone I know has had family that have died or been brain damaged from fentanyl. I mean, this is all the open border. This is all releasing the hardened criminals. And, to read it in the news and have it happen to your friends and things is really just the tip of the iceberg when you start experiencing the left persecuting people that actually protect their fellow humans. And when you see the Soros DAs in control of over 800 jurisdictions protecting serious narcotics gangs and human trafficking gangs, and when you see different feds in ICE calling and warning some of those violent gangs in the world that there's ICE raids coming, Pam Bondi and others reporting that they are preparing to indict some of these people. But there's so many communist traitors in the government that they're having to do polygraphs now to find out who's doing it. This is a crisis. And again, defunding the police, all of this is meant to destabilize and collapse society, Cloward and Piven. So here's one of the headlines about Jamie's murder. Austin police investigating Southeast Austin homicide. Austin City Council cuts police department budget by 1/3, mainly through reorganizing some duties out from law enforcement oversight. So they didn't just cut the police by 1/3, they turned them into social workers, the other ones. Austin mayor caught lying about police defunding after it happened and a bunch of murders happened. He said they didn't do it when they did. I mean, he did press conferences bragging. Inside the district attorney's campaign, tort reform, the Austin Police Department, he just wants people to sue the department when they actually defend people. He goes after police, throws the book at him, or when a veteran driving a lift gets armed, has somebody point a gun at him, he shoots and kills him. They throw him in prison, had to be pardoned. But this is Jose Garza, who literally in Zoom meetings calls other city employees comrades. So just look at this guy. He's doing exactly what he was put in by Soros to do. And I lay all of this squarely at the feet of these DAs and of the Soros crime syndicate and of the Democratic Party. They are the ones that administratively cut the police, prosecute the police in even cases that are 100% clear to be lawful, legal activities. And then you wonder why we can't get enough police and there's giant shortages, and you wonder why the quality goes down. But despite that, despite Austin being a war zone at night in many areas, the police were there in 2 minutes. It got him to the hospital in just 15, 20, and then he was pronounced dead there. So that's service. But you can't do your job when you don't have enough people. And as President Trump pointed out, and as Tom Homan pointed out and others, they gutted the Border Patrol, ICE, all of it. I don't know if any illegal did this, but you have so many illegals committing crimes that takes away the resources. And you've got the other gangbangers that know that a very small percentage of murders are now even being solved. Now, the police did tell us that they have some suspects, and I'm going to leave it at that. They didn't want to tell us whether it was a stabbing or a shooting. I can just tell you that from the amount of blood I heard, it was serious. They were there scrubbing his blood off the ground when our folks got there. And if any listeners ask us why we didn't get any video of it, we're not going to just use at that point. It's too emotional. The Infowars crew is really torn up right now, and most of the reporters didn't even ask, but we sent them home. But I appreciate the crew that stayed here so we can get this information out. My condolences go to the family Your son was and is an amazing person, and we're so proud of the work that Jamie did, and we are so proud of the work he did continuing on as we try to stabilize the country and cut the crime and stop world war. And we really appreciate your son. We really appreciate your brother. And I don't want to say he'll be missed because he's always going to be with us. He's a good man. And it's just a reminder of us how serious the stakes are, and that the individuals that are running our society administratively are engaged in just vicious, vicious policies. I mean, you could say Soros and these DAs defunding the police 4 years ago didn't know what they were doing, but of course they did. And then same thing in Europe. But now that it gets worse and worse and worse, they know exactly what they're doing. And they're trying to make life miserable. They're trying to break our morale and will. But Jamie was such an upbeat guy, so positive, such a beautiful soul, and his soul lives on forever, and we know it's in God's hands. So for myself and the entire Infowars crew, we'll put Jamie's X account back up. Hopefully we can get the codes to it and give it to his family. I know Elon doesn't let people, and it makes sense, continue on an X account when somebody's deceased because it's a personal account, but maybe the family gets involved. We can make a memorial for crime victims and use the fact of his advocacy for crime victims, which was a big thing he did, and exposing just the incredible. I mean, I remember just a few months ago talking to Jamie about an article he'd written about crime exploding under Biden, and just him shaking his head and just saying it's terrible. And just yesterday, I was telling my family and everybody needs to start carrying guns. If you don't know how to use a gun, everybody needs to get a gun. And you're not going to be protected in 800 plus cities and jurisdictions the Democrats run. They're monsters. And so to the globalist, and the same thing's happening in Europe and other areas, you murdered Jamie White. You opened the door. You created the climate. You created the conditions on purpose. George Soros, Alexander Soros, you murdered Jamie White. Joe Biden, you murdered Jamie White. Democratic Party, Hakeem Jeffries, Al Green, you murdered Jamie White. And we're not going to forget him. And we're not going to forget last Tuesday during Trump's address to Congress how you wouldn't stand for the little black boy who's been battling cancer for 5 years and had 13 brain surgeries. You wouldn't stand for Laken Riley's family when she got kidnapped, tortured, and murdered. You wouldn't stand for her. You sat there like a bunch of demons because that's what you are. And you know exactly what you're doing. You're at war with this country. Ilhan Omar, all of you. You're the ones that support this. Governor Tim Walz, defunding the police, cities burned down. His wife saying, I love the smell of burning tires, open the windows up while people are getting killed. These are sick, degenerate, evil people that know what they're doing. And they, aided and abetted, they are accomplices to the murder of a great American and Infowars, longtime veteran reporter, Jamie White. And I know what Jamie would want. I'm going to talk to the family, but we should not just drop this and dust ourselves off and forget about Jamie or all the other victims. It needs to be Jamie White's dad or sister at the State of the Union. And President Trump needs to point his finger at the Austin scumbag DA and say, you little monster, you are responsible. Jose Garza just as much as the person or people that murdered our reporter. He won't be coming home to his family again. He won't get to live out the rest of his life. Now, cut short a young man because of you communist globalist scum. And I promise this to Jose Garza and the rest of the occupational government we've got here in Austin, Texas. We're going to take our country back peacefully. And you're going to be held responsible, civilly and criminally, if I have anything to do with it. And I'm asking President Trump and Elon Musk to look at this case because it's so important. A journalist, a patriot, murdered, literally murdered by the Soros government and the Democratic Party right here in Austin, Texas. God bless you all, and God bless Jamie White.
It's funny. I was gonna call today's episode "Disgust" anyway, just because. Well, what really struck the chord was this weekend I went to go see a Nirvana cover band. We got some free tickets, and my son's mother knows, the guitarist and whatever. So, I was like, they wanted to go, so I went. And it was at the House of Blues at Disney Springs, and it was slam packed. I mean, more than I've ever seen Disney Springs or the House of Blues. And I mean, they must have given away a lot of free tickets because, like, who's paying $40 a ticket to go see a Nirvana cover band? There was a Creed cover band opening up, and yeah, it was insane. And just being in that crowd of just like normies thinking that they're like anti-establishment, and on the stage they had in graffiti "God is gay," which is something that Kurt Cobain wrote when he was high on heroin or something. And it's just being glorified by these idiots, these morons, and they have no idea what's going on. They have no idea about the New World Order or geopolitics or any of the stuff we're here fighting, every day, trying to expose the corruption in order to seek justice and truth. And I'm disgusted. I have disgust, a feeling of revulsion or strong disapproval aroused by something unpleasant or offensive. And Jamie White's murder, amongst many other things I'm going to be covering today, and covering in general on DarkDox. Like, that was the point of creating this website, DarkDox.com, DarkDox.me, because we expose the dark things in life and the evil. These are the last posts that Jamie White ever wrote. I'll cover the last three. Romania's ban Calin Georgescu from presidential election. Protest erupts in the street. Romania has banned the presidential frontrunner Calin Georgescu, who was on Infowars several times before his arrest last week. You can check those out on our previous episodes from the past 2 weeks, actually. The country's electoral bureau said Sunday that it was investigating Georgescu's candidacy over claims he violated laws against extremism. This whole thing is just outrageous. Let's see, we got some videos. Oh, we got a bunch. All right. What fills me with disgust, particularly, is that I can't, if you just listen to the audio from this, I can't tell the difference between a violent protest where people are being murdered or a sports event, football game, a soccer game. It sounds the same.
Acest sens, mulțimea este revoltată. Însă, noi, echipa Realitatea Plus, facem apel. În acest sens, mulțimea este revoltată. Însă, noi, echipa Realitatea Plus, facem apel.
They're recording off of televisions? Come on. What do we got? Is this the same one we just saw? Yeah, looks like it.
Pe domnul președinte, Călin Georgescu, singurul președinte ales au fost pașnice. Nu vă mai fi așa. Pe domnul președinte,
Holistic Empire says people don't know, have a clue how dangerous this kind of work really is. It's so true. You know, of course, Infowars is a huge target because they're one of the biggest outfits out there, but members from Breitbart and all sorts of independent journalism outfits, Project Veritas, I mean, you know, even small outfits like Predator Hunter Nation and DarkDox, we have all kinds of people that are harassing us and trying to get us to stop doing what we do. And that's when you know you're over the target. Secret Service shoots armed man near White House after confrontation. Jamie White posted yesterday. Secret Service shot a man during an armed confrontation near the White House late Saturday night, the agency announced. Secret Service has received a tip from local police that the man, who traveled from Indiana, may have been suicidal. They don't say, and approached his parked car to confront him after midnight, a block or so from the White House. People are just out of their damn minds right now. Anybody that's burning Teslas or attacking people, I mean, what's going through your head? Why are you putting that kind of hate and violence towards the wrong things, you know, that aren't hurting you, aren't trying to hurt you? It's the mainstream media's propaganda, you know, trying to say that Elon is Hitler and he's trying to take your Social Security. And then we're trying to explain, no, they're stealing trillions of dollars from all of us, and then they're going to attack us. Bannon, we're already deep into the kinetic part of World War III. Let's see what he has to say.
I'd be very surprised if he didn't mention this Truth Social he just put up about Russia's kinetic activity overnight in Ukraine. Look, President Trump, as I tell you, one of his best sayings when you're around him is no games. And particularly here, I think it falls into the Zelensky last week, no games, a week ago, and also with the Russians. They're trying to work, as I told you, a rapprochement, but the Russians are quite tough. And last night, I think you saw a pounding that President Trump and his Truth Social just not prepared to tolerate. He's given Chief of Staff a pretty tough hombre that said his first address to the country of Israel says 2025 is going to be the year of war. So get ready. The world's on the brink. We're already deep into the kinetic part of the Third World War. All these people said, well, you know, we're trying to avoid the third. You ain't trying to avoid the Third World War. From 1939, the invasion of Poland, to June of 1941, the invasion of the Wehrmacht and the invasion of Russia, Operation Barbarossa. If you take those couple of years, there is, I think, 10 times the killings taking place in Ukraine and in Israel that took place in Poland, the fall of France, the Blitz over the Battle of Britain, the Blitz over London. I'll throw in some raids in France, take North Africa. You roll it all up, it pales in comparison to the casualties you have, and quite frankly, the destruction. Parts of Ukraine look like Dresden in 1945. You're in a kinetic war right now that's every bit as dangerous and every bit as brutal, if not more brutal, than the opening phase of World War II. I'd be very surprised if it didn't.
But somehow Trump is Putin's puppet, explain it to me. If you're on X, follow us. We're Sacred Owls Unite. And Elon says the IP address is connected to the cyber attack on X today, originated in the Ukraine area. Interesting. If you're not aware, X was actually down for a good 10 hours today. It was off and on midday, then it crashed again. Let's see what they got.
There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced. Yes. It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
There was a cyber attack on X.
Short clip. I was hoping you would elaborate. Yep. This is going to be on everyone's feed for a while now. All right. X briefly down. You see a Vanity Fair, Variety has to downplay it, saying, oh, it was down briefly when it was like almost the whole day. And thousands of users report outages, but there's tens of millions of people on the platform. So again, it's all psychological warfare to make it seem a bit downplayed. Federal employee protesting Doge. Elon's email is frightening. Okay. These are the kind of people that we're dealing with here.
When you wake up or when you're on your weekend and you get the fork in the road message, or you get the subsequent 5 bullets, hey, what the hell did you do, you lazy federal worker, this week?
I don't think it was worded like that.
How frightening is it that someone on X, the owner of X, speaks to you directly?
Thanks, Popeye. Check out rabbithole.radio.
To say, what did you do last week at work? And if you don't answer, I am going to fire you. But even more egregious.
Again, doesn't say any of this in the email.
The president comes out, the most powerful person in the land, and endorses that message. How do you think that makes federal workers feel? When you wake up or...
It should make you feel as useless as you are. 50 wins in 50 days, President Trump delivers for America. Today, President Donald J. Trump marks 50 days in office, and he has already established himself as the most consequential president of our time. The winning never stops, and President Trump is just getting started. Seriously, dude. Here are 50 wins for American people in the President Trump's first 50 days. President Trump, we've covered all of this, but yes, if you say they haven't done anything, here's 50 bullet points on all of the things that we cover every day at DarkDox Digest. And that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at youtube.com/Sacred Owls. Companies eye U.S. expansion to lessen fallout from potential tariffs. President Donald J. Trump tariff is already working as more and more companies look at expanding their presence and setting up shop in the United States. According to a new report from Reuters, a direct result from President Trump's commitment to put the American worker first and improve American competitiveness. DOGE.GOV update. After a 6-week review, Doge is officially canceling 83% of the programs at USAID. The 5,200 contracts are now canceled, spent tens of billions of dollars in ways that did not serve, and in some cases even harmed the core national interest of the United States. The consultation with Congress, we intend to that the remaining 18% of programs are going to be kept, approximately 1,000, to now be administered more efficiently under the State Department. So there you have it. It's Marco Rubio. Next. U.S. Secret Service shoots armed man. Got that. Breitbart syndicated the article by Jamie White. Democrat Senator Mark Kelly visits Ukraine, calls President Trump's pressure on Zelensky to help bring an end to the Russia war. Sickening, disgusting, a lot of that going around. President Trump just said on Air Force One something major could happen this week regarding the peace talks with
Look,
Russia.
we have to have peace, and I'm doing this. Money is one thing. We're going to lose. We spent $350 billion on this, but the big thing, human life. Thousands of people this week. Thousands of young soldiers died this week. Hundreds of people died in cities in Ukraine, and we got to get it stopped. It would have never happened if I was president, and it didn't happen. This was not going to happen. By the way, October 7th wouldn't have happened. Inflation wouldn't have happened. The Afghanistan, the way not that they left, but the way that they left, it looks so bad. Probably the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. That wouldn't have happened. A lot of things wouldn't have happened, but it is what it is. I think we're going to have a good time. I think we're going to have a good result in Saudi Arabia, meaning they're hosting the various talks, and we have a lot of good people going out there, and I think Ukraine's going to do well, and I think Russia's going to do well. I think some very big things could happen this week. I hope so.
What blows my mind, I mean, and I keep harping on this, but it's like you look at Trump at his age, and then you look at Joe Biden and what we just dealt with for the past 4 years, and there are people in this country and on this planet that still to this day will be like, Joe Biden was a genius, and Donald Trump is the biggest idiot. It's literally a different dimension. Like, how could you... What... I mean, it's fine if you don't like them, but wow, what do we got here? This guy looks scary. Senator Mark Kelly. When I met with President Zelensky this morning, I made sure to remind him that the American people stand against Russia and with Ukraine.
Hey, folks, just
not my country, not my problem. That's what I say.
A while ago, told him how I feel the American people are really behind him in this struggle, and Russia brutally invaded Ukraine, and Putin is a war criminal, should be in prison. I also told him I'm a little uncomfortable that this now appears to be like sort of a business transaction. We're about to celebrate our 250th birthday as a country. 250 years. That's exciting. And we've always been a country of values and principles. And I'm a little concerned that this has gotten a little bit off track. But at the same time, Zelensky needs to do what is in the best interest of his country and his people. And I get that. And I hope this conflict comes to an end very, very soon. Hey, folks, just met with President...
You can't eat it. It's Ramadan. Italian girl beaten by foreigners for eating sandwich on a bus. A violent incident erupted on a public bus in Italy Tuesday afternoon when two foreign teenage girls attacked an Italian passenger for eating a sandwich during Ramadan. The assault escalated when the driver intervened, resulting in facial injuries and broken glass for the 52-year-old employee of Arriva Italia. Ah, yes. Punk rocker Jello Biafra changes song Nazi Punks Fuck Off to anti-Trump anthem, We're starting a real fascist dictatorship. Trump hates me. He loves you. He loves you, Jello. It's a holiday in Cambodia. We gotta be on Instagram to watch this thing? Ugh. Okay. Can't full screen Instagram? I really don't like Instagram.
First saw him in Denver with Ministry and Helmet. That show. You should have known called Mammoth Garden. Yeah, now Live Nation's had claws into this place too. I haven't been here since they got this place. The Elon Musk of concert company.
I can't hear anything. He's gaining a lot of weight, and I gotta say, he should definitely consider going to thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox, because if he does that and gets some of the ultimate gut cleanse, I mean, I already lost like 15 pounds and I haven't been doing anything different. And if you use the /DarkDox after thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox, I get 10%, so I greatly appreciate it. And right now, they're giving away 2 trucks. They're giving away a truck every month, but there's a 2-week overlap. So every dollar you spend is 10x entries into the raffle to either get and or a Jeep Rubicon or a Ford Raptor 4x4 plus $20,000 in cash. And right now they got the MK Ultra. That's right, it's magnesium and vitamin K. Very clever, Chase. And I haven't gotten that, but I have gotten the Sheila Jit complex with ashwagandha, magnesium, black pepper, black seed extract, burdock root, Irish sea moss. And I gotta say, I've been on it for a week. I'm a fan. I noticed a little uptick in energy and just focus. They got turmeric gummies, they got t-shirts, they got Optimal Human Superfood Green, which I haven't tried yet, but right now you can get it for $25 a month if you subscribe. Usually it's like $80. It's $79.97 a month. It's wild. I'm cheap, but like everyone's raving about it. I might try it eventually. We'll see. The gut cleanse, 10-day gut cleanse. Highly suggest picking some of that up. I'm getting it every month now. And they got all kinds of fun stuff at thealexjonesstore.com. What do we got? Bedlam and Bucharest as populist president frontrunner banned from presidential election. Is this the same? Is this our buddy? Yeah, Georgescu. Ah, that's the city. Got it. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, so while we're on the punk rock tip, let's go to the edge, because Democrats embrace pure evil. Bernie Sanders team up with transgender punk rocker. This is the singer from Against Me, who is actually one of my neighbors in St. Augustine when I lived there. Performed a blasphemous, explicit song, Does Your God Have a Big Fat Dick? 'Cause it feels like he's fucking me. I haven't heard that one. The Democratic Party has once again revealed its true colors, embracing radical anti-Christian extremists, as Senator Bernie Sanders invited a transgender punk rocker to perform a vile blasphemy. They don't know. I think, what was it, Laura Grace something. This is a transgender. This is a fella that was a pioneer of identifying as a woman. And it was such a big deal when Against Me got signed to Fat Records, like that. Even Fat Mike of NoFX, the owner of Fat Records, started dressing in drag and like a whole lot more. So it was quite a phenomenon about a decade ago for the music scene anyway. Sanders, the self-described Democratic Socialist, a former presidential candidate, was in Kenosha as part of his nationwide Fighting Oligarchy tour. The lyrics go, we'll play the clip, and if you still need help, it's on the Gateway Pundit.
Does your God have a big fat dick? 'Cause it feels like he's fucking me. Are his balls filled with lightning? Do they tingle like heaven's keys? Does your God have a big fat dick? 'Cause it feels like it's fucking me. Does your God have a big fat dick? 'Cause it feels like he's fucking me. if it puts a necessary. Is it 6 to his 9? What are his other kids? He grows all the trees, does he taste every peach? So God fucking you and fucking me. I know creation must be lonely after all he's one and only, and his son was so long. I think the big man does some like, does your God have a big fat dick? Cause it feels like he's fucking me. Are his balls filled with lightning? Too big tingle like heaven's keys. Does your God have a big fat dick? Cause it feels like he's fucking me. When he whips out his meat, does it will fall to his knees? Does he shoot wads of honey and come twice on Easter Sunday? What's his favorite position? Missionary magic bullet. We all give him no lover, just a hand and a mother. When he come a shotgun blast, the true salvation up your ass. And see you come like bubble gum. Does your God have a big fat dick? Cause it feels like he's fucking me. Are his balls filled with lightning? Too big to know I heaven's keys. Does your God have a big fat dick? Cause it feels like he's fucking me. Does your God have a big fat dick? Cause he's fucking you and me.
Wow. That's something else. So we know the chorus, that's for sure. Who's the 6 to his 9, and what are his other kinks? If he grows all the trees, does he taste every peach? I know creation must get lonely. After all, he's the one and only, and his son was so well hung. I think the big man deserves one. When he whips out his meat, does the world fall to its knees? Does he shoot wads of honey and come twice on Easter Sunday? What's his favorite position? Missionary? Magic bullet? We all give him no lover, just a hand and a mother. He can come a shotgun blast, and he shoots salvation up your ass. Does he chew cunt like bubble gum? That's a NoFX line. Oh, I'm sorry. I still have the shorts up, so you can't. And Hunter, go back to jail. What are you doing? And give blowjobs like a vacuum. I mean, these people are twisted. Also, you know what also gives me the ick? You know what disgusts me? You know, I mean, I love my ink. Every single tattoo I've gotten, it has a story, and I love my ink. And it just, it's gross when, like, people just black out, like, all, they had a bunch of cool tattoos years ago, and then you're just gonna, you know, cover it all up, because, what, you're, like, embarrassed, that's not who you are anymore, like, I don't know. It just shows, like, I feel like a lot of leftists, they lack conviction, and they lack, you know, sticking around and, like, standing on your business, meaning what you say, saying what you mean, and being truthful, being honest, being righteous. But no, they're left. And you can't be left if you're right. You can't be right if you're left. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth delivers a savage response to Pentagon officials and experts whining that cutting climate change programs will harm national security. What? Got a clip? I think we do. No? Yeah? Yeah? Maybe? Let me see what that was about. Meow. Okay, yeah, that is a clip for that. It's not a clip. In response to a list of questions from CNN about military readiness as it relates to climate programs, Pentagon Spock's John Yolt said climate zealotry and other woke chimeras of the left are not part of DOD's mission. Good. Mockingbird Media's Double Standards, John Bound reports.
Which White House official made the decision to bar the AP reporter from the Oval Office and the diplomatic reception room last night?
Well, first of all, let me just set the record straight. It is a privilege to cover this White House. It's a privilege to be the White House press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given. And there are hundreds of outlets on this campus, many of you in this room who don't have the privilege of being part of that pool every single day and getting to ask the President questions. We reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
I think that the AP should look at whether or not they should sue the administration. I think the AP needs to, look at other options in terms of what can be done. And I think the rest of the press corps needs to start giving some serious consideration to whether or not it's worth, sending everybody into the Oval Office, sending everybody on Air Force One, sending everybody into the briefing room.
But the Associated Press just refuses to go with what the law is and what is taking place. It's called the Gulf of America now. It's not called the Gulf of Mexico any longer.
YouTube should fire Southern Poverty immediately from all YouTube monitoring because it's an outrage. I mean, to have the possibility of an anti-conservative hitting delete for partisan reasons or on any content that's relevant to patriotic Americans. And I think Google really needs to be, and YouTube, be transparent. I mean, moving forward to monitor content and have a no policy related to anyone that has any political affiliation or any reputation for being partisan. And I think also there really needs to be an apology to patriotic Americans that use YouTube for this gross oversight and unfair process that's really done not with any kind of disclosure in the choice of using Southern Poverty for the monitoring of content. It just doesn't make sense. And frankly, it opens up a bunch of things. I mean, when they're doing this to conservatives, what else are they doing it to?
There is a purge of not just Infowars, but thousands and thousands of Christian, pro-gun, pro-military, shooting clubs, you name it, and that actually News Corp met with Google, Facebook, and Twitter, bragged that they were going to work with the left to come in and shut down censorship.
And they told Reuters, in China, if you are based here, the government runs you. That's just the way it is. And boom, if they can censor a flag in real time, they can do a voice print and ban Alex Jones or President Trump. They can ban words, just like you try to type on your iPhone a cuss word, it won't let you do it. It's beyond that. It's here. And that's the new Article 13, Article 11, saying that software by law will be on all devices where you cannot even say or do certain things preemptively. Now, this was such a big blow up for Apple, they had to back off. They said, we apologize. We'll only geolocate if you're inside China. Let that sink in. You've got all these Hollywood programs saying I'm a racist and misrepresenting who I am, defaming me. You've got the very same corporations and calling for me to be shut down so they can lie about me and you, and we don't have a way to speak out or resist it and even counter it. Apple and others have moved to China and are now putting the iCloud data keys to everyone's iPhone on their platform and admitting that Chinese intelligence now runs Apple. And I'm just a loyal American sitting here saying it's wrong for an American citizen not to be able to send the Taiwanese flag to somebody because the Chi-Coms that have killed over 100 million of their own people and sell Christians organs because they're Christians on the world market. What, tell me a 30-year-old Christian doesn't have a heartbeat or a soul next, liberals? You're not liberals. You are weak followers that sold out to every form of evil and didn't even get a payoff to do it. I got some exciting announcements. It's in stock. It's popular. The big balls Trump hat with 47 on the side. Funds the operation. It's beautiful. Folks love it. And then...
You know you want a big balls
thinks
hat.
It's just for Trump, but you can wear it too.
You need a big balls hat. That's right. You know, I just came across... there is a DarkDox Digest Instagram, and I can't get into it. What a throwback. Yeah, I used to be chubby. See, now that I'm on the Ultimate Gut Cleanse, I'm going to see if I can get back into that account. Got a couple more things. U.S. Air Force was forced to scramble F-16s again after 2 aircraft violated airspace near Trump's Mar-a-Lago. In what is becoming an alarming pattern, U.S. Air Force F-16s once again had to intercept a civilian aircraft for violating restricted airspace near President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence this weekend. This marks the second incursion in just 2 days. The first incident, I wasn't even aware of this. The first incident occurred at approximately 8:15 a.m. on Saturday, and a general aviation aircraft entered the restricted airspace. NORAD F-16s responded promptly, escorting the aircraft out of the area without further incidents. NORAD and the FAA work closely together to keep the skies over America safe, with close attention paid to areas with temporary flight restrictions, said Gregory Gullett, commander of NORAD. Nope. If you're on Facebook, I guess I'll add you as a friend. I'm not on there that much. Christian X Coffins. Mongols Motorcycle Club stormed Daytona Bike Week in a wild biker showdown.
Breaking news, this just happened at Daytona Bike Week. Right behind me. Eric, they are still working on that scene right now. You still have police officers cleaning up the area. They did take the police stamp down. They had this area completely roped off, especially as you mentioned, that shocking shooting, just pumping your gas, and then several people running for their lives as they heard those gunshots ring out. Now, I got this video from a viewer that sent this in on Facebook as they captured those moments. The two gangs getting into a brawl here, and you can see them pushing and shoving each other. And then when the fight started and rang out, you heard that there were several people running inside the racetrack to find cover. Now, police say that both of these gangs were in town for Daytona Beach Bike Week.
Fitting for today's episode, DISGUST. We got a John Bound double feature. Dems panic, racism won't save them.
Was Act Blue nothing more than a slick, shadowy money laundering racket, siphoning USAID cash straight into the greedy hands of Democrat elites? The second that USAID spigot got shut off, those so-called small dollar donations vanished into thin air. Coincidence? I think not.
We had a lot of problems with Act Blue. And most all of that was all refunded.
You've never had a day where you maybe donated 53 times?
No.
Okay.
No, not anything even remotely close to that.
They think you won't notice it. Yeah, but she didn't donate to them. They just get the information from your credit card and pass it to the next person.
And now the top 7 executives at Act Blue are bolting like rats off a sinking ship. What do they know? What dirty secrets are they running from? The Democrats, drenched in the sweat of their own interior panic, have responded by yanking the race card from their tattered deck once again, flinging it like a cheap smokescreen to shroud their laundry list of crimes, corruption, election meddling, and a trail of broken promises.
This is not America. This is a terrible nightmare. Somebody slap me and wake me the f*** up. Those immigrants that come into our country, they work the fields, something that we ain't done in a long time. And clearly, he is trying to make us go back to the fields.
It's a recipe to make education
unavailable to black people. And where does that then leave us? It puts us back.
He's giving money to black universities. What are you talking about?
And we were picking cotton and
what? The fact that they want to continue to be this intellectually dishonest and sit here and fearmonger you to a point to say this man is literally trying to bring us back to slavery, knowing that the people who don't care about politics whatsoever is going to hold on to that, and then it's going to equate to them building up this triggering tension to the point that, yes, you have people making videos about trying to assassinate this man, and then you don't want to take no accountability for that because, you know, oh, I didn't tell him to go assassinate. But you're over here inducing
so this is a great example of gaslighting and victim blaming. It's like, you're out here just being yourself and it's making people crazy and want to kill you. It's your fault that they want to kill you because you're being yourself.
Exciting and inciting.
Democrats assume that if they scream racism loud enough, the sheeple will snap to attention. Too distracted by the finger pointing to notice the backroom deals and the slow bleed of liberty.
Look what they're doing to
We're going back to a 1950s America. As a new member of Congress, I was shocked at what seems like a blatant disrespect for the House, and it wasn't coming from Representative Green. It was coming from the men behind him on the right side who were telling him and yelling, "Sit down." I mean, it felt like I was watching something in a history class of racists yelling at an elderly black man challenging the president of the United States not to cut medical care for the sick.
He's waving a cane at
I've been
people.
in places where I didn't want to be, and I know what it sounds like. I've been called all kinds of ugly names. So I know invidious discrimination. And when the speaker decided that I would be removed, loving it. And then there was this motion, this resolution to censure me, it became obvious to me that I was not being treated as others were. Mm-hmm. And candidly speaking, it is invidious discrimination, harmful discrimination.
It's an attack on this government that used to be headed by a black man. It's an attack on this government that almost elected a black woman to the highest office in the land.
It's a desperate, flailing act from a party that's lost the plot.
Why are there 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database? Why were hundreds of millions of dollars of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under?
Terrified that the awakening masses might finally peek behind the curtain and see the rot they've been papering over with identity politics.
You've got congressmen on both sides of the aisle that if they follow that paper trail, it's going to come back to them. You got their wife and or girlfriend that works for some agency, quasi-agency or some business. And I'll probably get primary for saying that, but that's the truth and we all know it.
Fear's a hell of a motivator, and they're running on fumes, banking on division to keep the guillotine at bay. The spotlight's blazing and the people aren't buying the race-baiting hustle anymore. John Bound reporting for Infowars.
She's kind of hopping on a D2.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now.
So, yeah, if you're on Rumble, Rumble is down today too. They were being attacked as well. So this is an information war. So if you appreciate what we do, please go to DarkDox.com, and we got a shop. We got all kinds of cool stuff. I'll go over it next episode. I'll take today off. And if you just want to throw me some cash.app/DarkDox. I would greatly appreciate it. And thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox. Use promo code DOGE and get $10 off your order. And yeah, I waited till the end of the episode, so you can't just get the promo code and run off. You got to listen to the whole thing. Yeah, that about does it. This is DISGUST. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. turning Band.video 10 hours a day into one. This is Christian Coffins once more saying, beware, take care, have a good night.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Christian Coffins.
DarkDox,
DarkDox, DarkDox Digest. If you value this program, donate what you can at cash.app/DarkDox. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.